Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the third CoachRx Podcast Network Live. Super happy to be here with y'all. I'll give everyone a couple of minutes to jump on. Sorry, I'm a bit out of breath. I was running from the kitchen to the office so I could grab my gorilla mind before this chat. Yeah, lunchtime pick me up. I hope everyone's having a great day today. Well, while we wait for David to pop on, let me just remind you that you can learn more about the CoachRx Podcast Network on CoachRx.app. You'll just click to the resources tab and then select podcasts. This is the podcast overview page. So it's going to show you all of the shows, the lineup of shows in our network, and all of the awesome coaches who are creating really solid episodes for you guys. Like I do every 2 weeks, I do a roundup where I curate all of the episodes released across the different shows in the network and I put it up on the blog. So if you check CoachRx blogs, you'll be able to see those blogs, but also send that out in an email, which has actually become one of our more popular emails on the CoachRx side. Like you guys typically like engaging with those emails and clicking through to the episodes directly. So I will keep doing those roundups for you, but thank you for checking them out. Also wanted to remind you that last week, 2 weeks ago, Carl started a new series, the 3 coaching frameworks that every coach should have. It's a series of 3 episodes. It's also connected to this free guide, and that's all linked in any of his recent 3 episodes. And you can also access it off the podcast main page. So check that out, get into the guide. There's a downloadable PDF and an email series that goes along with it, but really just walks you through in detail his top 3 coaching frameworks. And again, check out those episodes. And then I also released the 1-page marketing plan. So that is also a downloadable PDF that just walks you through the complete 5-part system that we've been building episode by episode and gives you just a really simple strategic look at the whole system that you can work and continue to build. So check that out. And David is here, so I'm going to bring him onto the stage. Welcome, David. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, how's your Tuesday morning?
Tuesday morning is so far so good. A little family time, a little training session with a client. Now I'm here with you. Then I get to work out. Good day.
Nice. What are you training
Yeah.
today?
Today's going to be upper. So what is this week? It's going to be 3x3 bench as the primary, and then probably some back and shoulder stuff. Yesterday was legs.
I'll play this slow-mo reel of you doing some cool
Oh,
landmine stuff.
yeah. Fun.
This is
Landmine just
actually
looks
one of my favorite
cooler
moves to
than most
watch people
things.
do. A lot of fighters typically do that, right? That move.
Yeah. So like landmine, clean and jerk, and then just like a little twist of having a level change for the front foot.
You like it? You feel it more like oblique, rotational kind of focus? You just feel it everywhere.
Definitely some more oblique. So that was for me that day, was more like the last phase of a warm up, so more like neurological primer. I wasn't really trying to feel it anywhere. I was just trying to move really fast
Explosive.
through a split stance, because then I had heavy Bulgarian split squats right after that. So I just wanted to be like very ready for that.
Oh, I love it. Well, people can check out more of you doing awesome things on the gram. I'll remove that from the stage. But today, is it going away? I removed you. Add you to the stage. Just kidding.
Get me back on there. Yeah,
Woo!
thank you.
Okay, you're here. You're back there. You're on the stage now. Okay, so today I had some questions that I had planned for you guys. One thought that I actually wrote them down because I was like, if I don't write them down, I will forget because my brain, I'm doing 100 things a day here. But I wanted to ask you about like one mistake or a few mistakes that you've had in your coaching career that ended up making you a better coach.
Ooh. So for me, and this might be a little bit specific, but I think early on, So since I'm a physical therapist, I think early on in my work as a coach, and I didn't start training people until I was already going through PT school and becoming a PT. So um, interesting sort of esoteric problem I had was like not being able to take off my PT hat and put on my coach hat. And so I think it was kind of holding people back and being a little bit too much of I was afraid of an injury, right? I was kind of treating training a little bit too much like rehab. And then as a PT down the road, I think at times the problem I faced was treating PT a little, or yeah, treating rehab a little bit too much like training. Um, and then I would get some pushback from patients, like that was too hard in a way versus clients being a little too easy. So I've had to sort of like mesh those two and become a little bit more of a chameleon as a coach. So for me, that was part of the problem. But something that's probably a little more widely applicable is, and just thinking about this a lot more recently, um, sort of failing to approach training as like a hospitality craft and really sort of like bringing that the personal connection and sort of like catering to the person as like very, very important. Like think about it, whether it's you want to call it like a white glove approach or thinking like if you've ever been to an all-inclusive resort, like you don't want to wait for someone, or you don't want to have to go find someone to ask for something. Like you kind of want them to anticipate, like you want the solution before it becomes a problem. You want the next drink before the drink you have is gone, right? If you're at an all-inclusive, I want the next bowl of chips before I've eaten the last chip type of thing. And I think as a coach, sometimes I would, let the bowl of chips get empty and then it would stay empty for a little too long. Um, and at times that was getting a little too caught up in, like I'm an exercise science, that's my background. I just love training. I don't need a lot of extra motivation or reason or care to just like get in the gym and do the thing, and realizing most of the people who are hiring a fitness professional in large part are there for some of the accountability, like some education, but not too much, really more like a connection to why this matters, right? Like reassurance that what they're doing in the gym is going to help the goals that they said they had outside the gym. And so I think bringing like that hospitality approach to training and never letting, I've never used that bowl of chips analogy, but I think it works. Like never letting the bowl of chips be empty, and never forcing the client to come to you and be like, hey, where's that thing? Like, where's the next whatever? Um, that was the big one. So like very, very early on, I think I under delivered on some of that and lost both in-person and online clients. And I sort of knew that was happening, right? And then they leave and you're like, oh yeah, of course. I should have done better. I don't really have a leg to stand on. Be like, what do you mean you don't want to pay again? So yeah, every round of clientele that I bring on, I try and do better at that.
Yeah. Related to that thought, I guess you also create content. Obviously, we're just looking at your Instagram. So
Yeah.
you're creating content to not only uh, gain like and trust factor from potential clients, create awareness, engagement, get to your existing clients to see you out there living the lifestyle, doing the thing. But
Mm-hmm.
the process of becoming a content creator is such an interesting journey. But how do you think that process has helped you become a better coach?
The process of creating content.
Yeah. Just like what you've learned and like how it's challenged you. For
Oh,
me, I think a lot about like learning how to refine my communication even more as a creator has made me a
yeah,
better marketer. I'm sure you could apply the same things to coaching.
I think that's the thing. 100%. I think figuring out how to, take a video and add in enough text to potentially get someone to go read the caption, have, the first couple lines be enough to get someone to buy in and read a few more. Um, that really translates to like the in-person interaction and the online interaction of um, figuring out how to say more with less. I think is probably to the extremes with content. You've got this 3 seconds, 7 seconds, whatever it is nowadays, 1.4 seconds to get someone to not just swipe past. And it's not that extreme, obviously, when you're in person with someone, but I think it is definitely content creation is like a practice in kind of like honing in on what has the impact you're going for, and getting clear on like who you're trying to talk to and how, and not understanding that what you want to say in your head isn't necessarily what someone needs to hear to get the message you're trying to get them to understand. So yeah, it's a lot of communication practice. And that was, interestingly, that was my minor. So I was an exercise science major, but I studied communication. I actually enjoyed that more than exercise science, if I'm being honest.
I could
But
tell. I
yeah,
could see that
I
about you.
studied communications, like specifically media studies. I've always felt like I communicate better in writing than speaking, and so I really like the process of content creation and having the opportunity to like sit down and just kind of like let the words flow.
I like that. You made me think of something, and I know you're actually going to be getting together with Carl soon, which I'm stoked for you guys to meet. But something that he always hits home on a lot of just his, from a program design perspective, is this, just the thought of efficiency, and not for the sake of just being faster and getting things done faster to do less, but like being efficient with the things that, with your systems and your processes, so you have actual more time to coach better, which is a lot of what has been built into the platform. But I think about that from a content creation standpoint more recently. It's like you're forced to be efficient with words. Like, it's
Yeah,
not necessarily that you always have to say less, but it's like you have to front load the value, the what's in it for them. And then you do have to use less words to get your point across and be more effective in an efficient manner. So like there's a lot of tie over or crossover between like program design and like the things that make you great at like managing a large client roster and doing that efficiently with this content creation process.
yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think that the way you're saying that makes me think literally, if like you wanted to translate that to actually coaching, right? Like content creation isn't coaching, it's cueing.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, there's a big difference between describing a squat and giving the right cue that gets someone to squat. You have to coach and demonstrate and do all those things. And I don't know if maybe that's like the culmination of multiple pieces of content. If like someone sees enough, they're like, they got coached. But each piece of content is like a cue. So right, one might be like spread the floor, one might be breathe and brace, one might be spread the bar, one might be pack your neck, right? And it's that thing where, kind of like with a lifter, by the time they're under the bar, by the time they're about to do the thing, you don't have time to coach them. Like that's got to be done already. You have time for maybe 2 or 3 words, and then they perform. And that's basically what social media is. Like you've got time for 2 or 3 words for someone to be like, oh yeah, okay, that's what I need to do. That makes sense. Well, what's the, and just like with content and coaching, right? Like the cue for one athlete is not the same as another. The cue for one client is not the same as another. So it's figuring out, what's the cue that the person watching needs right now to be like, oh, that's the thing, that's the light bulb.
Yeah, totally agree. What are you working on now? What's top of mind for you this week?
Just kind of putting a new system into place in terms of how I am staying on top of client communication, like doing the thing, not letting the chips go empty. Client communication and programming. I'm big. I've said this for a long time, and time to time I'm really good at it, and sometimes I let it slip. But my goal with like programming is always to be a couple weeks ahead, or I never want to run out of a client program, but I also don't want to be so far ahead that I'm assuming their goals are the same as they were 8 weeks ago. So right now I'm kind of in this place where I've got a few clients who are just like locked and loaded, ready to go. A few people who have had some changes, and now we're reestablishing some things, some tests that were done, some events coming up. So like I'm just right now I'm working on the balance of having enough stuff done that I can lean a little bit heavier into the communication with other clients, so that in a couple weeks, right, they're on cruise control, and then I'm circling back and making sure I'm communicating with the next wave of people who have a test day or a powerlifting meet coming up in a couple weeks and all that sort of stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
this is sort of
We're,
like an operations week for sure.
yeah. And with all the like fall back to school, I'm sure there's like just a lot of change in people's lives, right? So it's like
Yes.
whether they're managing change in their personal lives, change in their goals from like whatever they'd experienced in the summer into the fall. And then obviously with the lifters that you have who are competing, most of like the peak season is kind of like peaks in October, then a little bit of a break going into early next year, or does it's kind of all the time there's meets, right?
Yeah, it's all the time. I mean, I've got one person right now, she's got like regionals coming up in Vegas the first weekend of September. So she's my person right now who's probably my most competitive athlete. So we're peaking for that meet. There's a national standard she needs to hit. So it's decisions about attempts numbers and what's feeling really good. Where do we want to like have the ability to play it safe if we're not having a good day? Communicating with the person who will be on site with her so they can take the mental load off of her and just help her get prepped for each lift.
Is that something that you enjoy? Like, not everyone enjoys,
Yes,
I think, the handling aspect of meet day, but do you love it?
I do. Yeah, I won't. So this is a client. She's a coach who works with me, actually, Emily. She's got a bigger thing coming down the pipe than I do. So she's going to be launching through CoachRx, like a women's only powerlifting team where
Awesome.
everyone will be following the same program and like have the ability to prep for meets together and then hopefully, like come out and show out in force. But no, I do. I haven't handled her in person just logistically, but like locally here in Arizona, meet days are long, but I do really enjoy it. It's fun. If you have a plan, then it's really cool to like see all the work come into fruition. If you go in there the first couple of meets and you're like, oh shit, I didn't script your warm-ups, right? Or I've had 5 athletes where I'm handling all of them simultaneously. And it's like
Or even the like
each
little
of them needs
nuances
to
of
know
planning
all their stuff.
flights and how big the
Yeah.
flights are, so you know how many attempts they can take for warm-ups. I get
Yes.
to whenever Charlie competes like in a non-important meet, I get to be his handler. And so he gives me the schedule of like I'm just making sure he's on, and I'm like, okay, headphones in, chalk on back, your plates
Yeah.
are
Put
loaded.
put put these plates on the bar. Yes, totally.
Yeah. So I'm
And
not
every
really
athlete's
handling
different
him, but
too.
it's crazy. The
Every athlete's
process is
different too.
intense.
It is. Yeah, um it's very time specific. Like it's very blocked. Like you've got to be ready at a certain time. There's no like, oh, hold on, I've got one more warm up.
Crazy. Well, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Brandon has joined us for his time slot with our
Sweet.
Russian roulette of coaches.
What's up?
I thought I'd let you guys say hi to each other for a minute, but is there anything else you want to share with the crew before you peace out, David?
I don't think so. I think I'm good this week. That's good. That's a good question. The question about like the mistakes you've made for sure.
Yeah. And I dislike that term mistakes, right? I know it's like catchy to say it because we're all just in a constant evolution and learning and growing. And it's like, I feel like the failures are the things that make us grow the most, which, are the most important and impactful to us getting better. So
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think the label you put on it matters as much as, like the overall theme, whether it's a failure, mistake, learning opportunity, lesson. Mistakes is fine. I mean, some of them were there. Mistake is the right word for some things. Like I fucked that up. That's okay.
isn't it cool too with age, how you can kind of just not be hard on yourself about it? Like you can accept and own that you need to improve and just focus on
Yeah.
that versus like, I don't know, hiding the fact that you messed up or being embarrassed about the fact that you messed up. But it's just like, oh man, I blew that. Sorry. I'm going to get better. And you move on. I love that about age.
Yeah. I honestly think clients, to some degree, right? You can't do that every week. Like, oh, sorry, fucked up again. Same thing. But I think clients do appreciate that, right? Then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, I didn't do all my workouts last week either. I was afraid to tell you. So like sometimes you have to open that door, right? Or else if you come off as perfect, then the client's gonna like really beat themselves up about not maintaining your standard.
For sure. Well, awesome. Good to check in with you, David. Thanks for popping in.
Absolutely. Talk soon.
Peace. What's up, B?
What's up?
Let me
How are you?
pull your I'm gonna pull your gram up while we say hello to you. How's your
Beautiful.
Tuesday?
It's going good. Got a beard trim. Got working on some things today. Had a pretty busy morning, so I just got home probably like an hour ago and just chilled for a little bit before this.
What was happening this morning?
Just some training. Sat down with a local coach. I'm trying to do a little bit more local networking since I've been back, and then got the beard trimmed, and yeah, and then I was just doing a couple little like run around errands this morning, but that was it.
Nice.
Yeah.
How is Fight Camp was released? How was that last week? Was it exciting?
Yeah. Are you talking about the lead, the lead magnet? Yeah.
Yeah.
I released that on Monday, so I was or yesterday actually. So I'm pretty excited about that. Obviously, I was talking about that a little bit last week, but the fight camp mentality I released yesterday. So that's going to be the free guide that I've been working on basically the last month that Kandace has helped me with a lot. Yeah, just for people to help pick a goal, help pick a worthy goal, something that gets them out of the bed in the morning and makes training easier. Because I think that a lot of this stuff, realistically, with training, if you have something that pushes you, that's going to be that's going to be the thing that gets you to that next level. Because I think a lot of times training, like most things in life, can become monotonous, and the little details tend to slip, and we forget the little things. But when you have something you're training for, you have something, that you're excited about, then it becomes easier, and I think that's the biggest thing. And I think having this thing that I've worked on with the ebook, with the agreement, with the way that I've set everything up is going to be really helpful for people who do jump in, because it's going to give them, a really cool way to find purpose in their training. And then I think with this idea of like the fight camp, I think it's going to help people see that with that style or that setup, it's very beneficial to long-term results. Because yes, it's like a short-term thing where it's like, say 8 to 16 weeks, but in that time you build a lot of the discipline and things that you need to make sure you're getting the results that you want. And that's so I'm really excited about it. So I'm happy, everything came together. It was released Monday. Had a pump a few people already reach out through the email to get things started. So it's yeah, I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. And I guess similar question for you, because I talked to David about this a little bit when it
Mhm.
comes to like the content creation process actually
Yeah.
making you a better coach. But one thing I noticed about you is you seem to love projects. So
Yeah.
like you do your podcast in series, right? Where
Yeah.
you'll have themes to a series of episodes. You obviously created this uh, free offer for
Yeah.
clients in more of a project mindset. And then obviously you have like the Coach Connect
Yeah.
project. It's like this other thing that you do. And then of course you're coaching all the time. So I guess talk a little bit about that mindset in how you approach creating content and like how it makes you think differently about the coaching process.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I've so with the content, I've been somebody who I've tried to be different in regards to like how I approach it, because I think what I've seen a lot in fitness is that everybody has the necessary information, right? And I think a lot of people know what to do, right? As whether they're going to actually do it is the obvious question. I find even with myself, the people I resonate with the most are doing it, right? And I think that people with content that I've resonated with are ones who are building businesses or training for something or doing that sort of thing. And the behind the scenes, the build up to the project, the seeing everything that went into building something is like what makes me uh that's what I could sit here all day and watch it. And I think one of the biggest inspirations I've had is actually my favorite like musician or artist, whatever you want to call him. And he has obviously he releases music, and for some of his bigger songs he has a making of series, and like he shows like from the beginning. He's like, I want the song to kind of look like this, and I want it to sound like, like have a little bit of James Brown, have a little bit of like just like that sort of thing. And you see it come together, and you see like this whole mix of what his idea was, the pieces that he puts into it, and then where it kind of goes. And then you see the song start to come together. And for me, that's always been like the coolest thing to watch. And another, you know, uh, his name's John Bellion, and he's like someone I've watched a lot through his music. And then another person I've really enjoyed content wise recently is this guy Ross Mackay. He owns a company that just came out recently, Cadence. It's called. It's an electrolyte brand, and he's been killing it. It's like the behind the scenes, the building of the brand, essentially showing people that, you know,
Building in public is a very popular trend, right?
yeah, and that's the thing is like I think the people, and there's a lot of people who are like, building, but then you're seeing people who again are building and being a family man and training and doing all those things. Like that's real to me, like I know I think the phase of kind of like the influencer type of person is run its course, and now it's actually people who are really in it. You know what I mean? Like it's really working on the business, really training hard, having those really the content that's like, okay, I'm doing the work, I'm just showing you, right? Another thing, like early on in, I guess, my coaching career was like Gary Vee talked about like documenting and not creating. And I think that's where a lot of people obviously get caught up on things, is because they're trying to create new trend or create a new video. And like on a daily basis, you're doing so many cool things. And I've been a lot better in the last 5 years. I really think I wish I did a lot more of it my first 5 years, because I lost a bunch of weight and I opened my first gym and I didn't really do any documenting whatsoever. I sold my gym, then I left, and it was like so much that I feel like people could have learned from in that time that I didn't do, that now I'm trying to do as much of the documenting as I can in the process to building the Coach Connect and building, the fight camp mentality and building the other projects that I'm working on, and even becoming the best coach that I can be, training the best version of myself I can be. Like I want people just to see, because I'm just a normal dude at the end of the day, and I'm not doing like, uh, you know, I want people to see that like if you do the work, you can do it, right? And like even as a coach, like I was a fat kid who became someone who trained like world champions, and it's like I think that's a story a lot of
Who's also
people
up for
can.
Coach of the Year from the
Twice,
World
two-time
MMA
nominee,
Awards, two-time
two-time
nominee.
nominee.
Yeah,
So
just a
yeah,
normal dude, but doing big things.
yeah, well, exactly. Well, I mean, like it's just head down type of work, it's knowing what you need to do, doing it on a daily basis. And I think that's the sort of thing where, I look at myself as someone, again, like my business uh, tagline is literally influence the highest standard of coaching. And I can't look at myself and be like, all right, I'm going to ask somebody to do these things to get better, but I think I'll sleep till 7 today. Right. Or I think maybe I'll train today. Like for me, it's probably not the best thing, but I train 7 days a week. That's just what I like to do. Like that's what, like if I don't work out, I get like jittery. Like I just don't like the feeling. So
It's
like I
very
have to
OPEX of you,
train.
by the way.
Yeah. I have to train every single day. I have to put myself in a position of uncomfort, right? I think with the project mentality that I have is just like I like to plant seeds and I like to see things through and like try to build something. I'm also very, for every project that has actually come to light, there's about 150 that haven't, that I've written down, or I've started and just haven't got to finish. And then the ones that I think are best, I go with. And if they resonate, I just continue to go with them. If not, then I try not to hold on to a lot of those things, because I just know that their new ideas are going to come. And sometimes I go back to old ideas and I think, wait, now's the time for it, So yeah, I think the whole idea thing with the social media is just me trying to document as much as possible. I'd love to have more of it. I'm trying to do as much of it as I can right now. But the biggest thing is obviously doing it in a way that makes sense and not overdoing it as well. Because I still want to have that time for myself. But there's things obviously when I can document, I will, and that's how I usually go about it.
Was it at all a challenge for you to get over like that fear of not knowing it all before you get started? Obviously, in fitness, you started not knowing a lot as an
Yeah.
overweight kid, but then you went all in and you learned by doing. I guess where I'm going with this is like I think this happens a lot with coaches that I interact with who want to get started with content or taking marketing more seriously or launching a podcast, right?
Yeah.
There is like a hesitancy to take action versus an action bias of
Yeah.
just like, let me go at this and I'm going to mess up. I'm going to learn as I go. It's going to get better. Like embracing the messy and like I don't have all the answers versus like, let me get every single possible question answered. And
Yeah.
then when I have the most perfect plan, I'll start. But like by doing that, they just keep getting further behind. Right.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
I
know. Was
think I
it,
think
was
for
it hard
me,
for you to get over that?
honestly, early on, no, because I was like, well, no one's gonna watch me anyway, so I might as well just like do as much messing up now as I can. That's when I really, because I've been posting stuff pretty consistently for the last almost 8 years since I opened my gym. And that was in 2017. So it's been almost just about 9 years. And I've been pretty consistent with it, on and off. I've had some hiatuses, but that's really just like, you know, really just I got my phone stolen. There was like some things in between from there that I had little like mess ups, but or not having like cameras in some of the countries I was with. But for the most part, for me early on, it was just like, hey, if I'm gonna get better at this, I just got to do it. I'm not going to be perfect at it. I knew I wasn't going to be perfect at it, but a big thing was like people weren't going to watch me early on, anyways. That's what just was in my head, whether they did or didn't. Um, so it was just kind of like, well, just do it, just get better at it. Like it's not going to be perfect. Like for me, it's more about just giving the message I want to give. Like I didn't really care about how it looked. I didn't really care about any of that stuff. It was more about like, hey, here's my message. Let me get better at talking. Let me get better in front of a camera. And I kind of, obviously with me, I had a lot of like learning early on. But as I was doing the content, I was also just opening the gym and getting in front of more people and getting better at talking and speaking and sharing that sort of thing. So it just kind of got better for me pretty quick. And I think for me, I'm always someone who has like a little bit of like a delusional confidence where I'm just think I'm good at it regardless, so I'm just gonna do it. And like I was just having this conversation the other day. Like sometimes I have a hard time admitting if I'm bad at something and I don't like to. But like for me, it's like I just have that confidence when I step into something. I'll either do it and figure it out and be good at it, or if not, I'm just gonna keep doing it if I enjoy doing it until I am like good at it. So that was something for me where yeah, I think like I wouldn't say it was easy to get over, but I just kind of realized like if I didn't, then I wasn't going to get anywhere with it. You know what I mean? Because I think when you have that type of I got to wait till it's perfect, or I get the perfect camera, or I learn how to edit, and it's just like you're going to learn that stuff anyways. And even if you get it, like you're going to get a camera that's too confusing to use, and whatever is going to come into the. There's always going to be something else in the way. So it's just like just do what you can in the time being, and you know. Yeah, and I think it's always going to end up working out if your intentions are right. And I also think like if it's meant to be, it's gonna work out regardless, as long as you're like putting the effort in.
Yeah. What with the podcast and how that's evolved for you, I guess, what have been some of the biggest like stair steps
Yeah.
that you've taken with just creating and managing a podcast, or learnings that have come out of those stair steps that you've taken?
I mean, I can't speak right now because I think it's not like I mean it's good, but like I have to work on it still. But I think there's one of the few things early on again was just like the message. I just wanted to have a place to like get my thoughts out because like I don't like personally with my podcast, I don't want to interview people. That's not something I'm interested in. Like I want it just to be almost like a I guess like a thought area or a place where I can answer questions for myself or people if they want to go back and listen. And because I think that for me, that's a lot of information that can be used in other areas and people can just always go back to hear from. But I think with the podcast for me, originally I set it up at my first gym Thrive because I wanted to, like I said, just talk and be able to like have information because I think that's where I'm at my best. Like I think David, his name's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like he's like he's better at writing. Like I'm better at talking. Like if I can get in front of like I'm just that type of person where if most people listen to me talk, they're probably gonna like vibe with it. But if like I write, I'm not the best writer. So it's like that communication for me, like a podcast is really important for me to be able to kind of get that information out, get my voice out, the way I explain things, the way I talk. I think it's really important. And I think also for me, like as I'm trying to step more into the online space or into like the educational space, like my face needs to be seen, the information needs to be out there. And I think with the podcast, it's more of again a place for me and Jerry to have that back and forth, do it like really with someone I love. And I think that's another thing for me that I realized when I started doing it with Jerry was Jerry, like I just have those conversations with him regardless. Right. So it's like, why not just plan it once a week and have it on a podcast and just let it go from there. And I think with Jerry's, he's someone who brings the best out of me in that conversation, like in that way and a lot of other ways. But like he brings it out of me in the best way that, all right, let's record this. Let's get it. We have our laughs, but we have the serious conversations. And that's where it's like, I think for the podcast early on, I was so like, oh, it's got to be technical. It's got to be, I got to give this and that and have it so specific. But now I'm just like, as long as I'm with Jerry, I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Like, hopefully we touch on the fitness stuff enough that the coaches want to listen to it and people want to listen to it. But for the most part, it's just a way to have fun, get the information out there and just talk.
He's like your like friction buffer, because you like
Yeah.
enjoy just hanging with him. So it's like eliminating the resistance that would be there of like recording anything. Because you
Well,
just
yeah, I
get to
think
hang
like
with your bud.
I find it hard to have like I've done podcasts by myself and I find it very hard to just do it by myself because I don't know, there's like I need that person to talk to like guide the conversation or keep me focused. Otherwise, I just talk and then I'm like, all right, where did I just go on a tangent or whatever in the middle of a 30-minute podcast that's just me talking. So I think Jerry obviously as leads the podcast with me, but also keeps me in line. But then, as like I said, he's like me and him. Obviously Jerry's my cousin, so I've known him my entire life, and we've always been like
He's
that.
literally your cousin, or just like your good friend? Like,
Literally my
oh, I
cousin.
didn't know that. I thought you
Yeah,
guys were
yeah,
just
yeah.
like buds.
Yeah, so I've known him since literally the day I was born. But he, we've always been like this, like close. And now it's just like this is something I've wanted to do for a while with him and like building him into the business and doing something with him. So like the podcast has just been a fun way to do that and like just have our conversations that we normally have.
Yeah. And now, did you get into coaching first and then he got into coaching? Did you guys get into coaching at the same time, or how'd that work?
Around the same time, I think. Honestly, I think he's a year older than me, or like just about 2 years older than me. He graduated college before me, so he probably got into coaching first, and I, yeah, and then I got into coaching like shortly after. But I opened the gym, and then he was working at a gym, and we both kind of like grown as coaches, like side by side. And he's moved a little bit more. He's kind of moved into the like LA, or he's in LA right now, and he was in Rochester, he moved to Colorado, and I kind of made some bigger jumps with like risky wise that paid off for me. And yeah, but I think like we've kind of grown as coaches together over the last, I'd say like 7 years, but around the same time we started. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I love that. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for checking in today. I'm going to
100%.
bring on Jason to the stage. Have you guys met?
Yeah, I've talked to Jason a couple times. I actually
Oh,
met
cool.
Jason at Black Sheep like 7 years ago. Or no, 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going? Good? You guys
Yeah.
are crushing it, huh? Yeah. Love
Hey,
it.
Jay, I don't know. Are your earpods connected? Can you hear us through your earpods? Because I hear a lot of slamming. Someone's doing some snatches or something, huh?
I'm actually in a batting cage with my son. Let me
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
I didn't think
You're
that-
good
I
as
was
long
thinking-
as you can hear us.
Yeah, I can go outside if it gets too loud.
I think we'll survive. We'll be
Too
okay.
loud though, huh? Yeah.
Well,
So you guys.
well, thanks, B. I appreciate you.
Yes, I appreciate you guys.
Pretty good to see you.
Chat
guys.
soon.
Um,
It's been a minute.
I know. Is it too loud? Do you want me to go to another spot?
If it's easy for you, I can hear a lot of loudness, but
Yeah. Let me.
while Jason's doing that, I'm going to bring up his gram. So y'all check him out on the gram. I'm sure you know the one and only Jason of Conquer Athlete. Check out both pages because there are 2 pages. And obviously the Conquer Pod, which is him and Ryan, who Ryan joined us the last 2 weeks. You guys got to chat with him. I believe Ryan's wife is actually in labor, potentially, or
Yeah.
maybe already had the baby.
Didn't have it yet, but it's like any moment.
Yeah. Amazing for
So
them.
I also apologize about my unprofessionalism with my location right now. I had to leave the gym to pick up my son to bring him to some hitting lessons, and here I am.
Dude, I'm adding you back to the stage. No worries at all, because this is completely live and just real. So we just take what we can get.
There it is. Yeah, for sure.
So you've been traveling a lot. You've had some downtime with the family, just wrapping up the summer.
Yeah, this summer was nuts. My son's like really into baseball. He pushes hard with it, so we were doing a lot of baseball traveling, almost like every weekend. Like we were almost like somewhere around. Look at my hair too. It's crazy. Like it's like a mess right now, Kandace. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to go one way is the other way. I'm giving myself a part. So we've been traveling a lot, and with baseball, we took a little family vacation to Disney, but yeah, it's just been all over the place. But it's good.
Oh, so good. And you guys just finished up a mentorship group?
Mentorship group still going. Our next cohort is starting up October 1st, and so it goes for 12 weeks. And our biggest thing with the mentorship group is just pumping out real information. You know, something I always talk about is the problem nowadays isn't getting information. Like that's so easy to do. But the problem nowadays is being able to decipher between good information and crap information. And I almost feel like I had a conversation with one of my mentors today, and it's like the world is getting louder and dumber by the second. You know, like everyone's like this show me gimmicky, like regurgitation of things that they don't know what they're talking about. And people are like following and jumping on things where it's just ridiculous, right? And our goal is just to pump out real proven principles of training and how they apply to being effective coaches and making sure your athletes or your clients progress the right way. And that's what our mentorship is about.
Yeah, I love it. And you guys give a sneak peek of that on the pod a lot, because you and Ryan are always having like very real conversations about live coaching scenarios and what's going on. So I guess what's happened on the pod lately? What's been top of mind for you, either in recently released episodes or what you're planning to record?
Yeah, you know, it's I used to podcast a lot. I think I did like 250 episodes. And then I just got tired of it. Like I got tired of the planning of it. I got tired of having people on that and, you know, come up with questions. And I actually want to give Froning and Mayhem podcast a shout out, because I love how their podcast is like, they just have conversations about real world stuff, and they, whatever they say. So I was talking to Ryan. I was like, listen, let's start podcasting again, but I want you to come up with topics. I don't want to know what they are. You ask me at the time of, and then let's just talk trash and have like this just a real conversation. And that's what it kind of turned into. And if you listen to our podcast, the first 15 to 20 minutes of it are sometimes can be pretty ridiculous with stories that we tell and things we talk about. But this last one got into performance anxiety. And we talked about, you know, two forms of that, whether it's through trauma or through just lack of exposure to the environment that athletes are entering in. And that's what we try to do. We try to have real conversations about stuff. We talk trash about some other things, and we give you our opinions on stuff. But then we always try to wrap it up with some solid coaching information that people can take back with them.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's definitely like a podcast network favorite when I send out all the roundup emails. Like your guys' episodes always get like top clicks. So there's some episodes where I think like Blake on the comeback athlete, you guys are like comparable with topic selection. And I know your topics are like totally organic. So the crew loves it. But no, I appreciate you guys just like always cranking out such valuable insight and just being so raw. I think that's the coolest thing about it, is it's just two coaches having awesome conversation about coaching things.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be a raw conversation. And it's something that people can laugh at or be like, what the hell, these guys are idiots. What are they even talk about? But being like, oh, that makes sense too, you know?
So today, one of the questions I've been asking everyone who's jumped on, just thinking about the process of content creation or the skill of content creation, getting better at that, whether it's the podcast or stuff that you guys are doing in other aspects of content creation, like on Instagram and things with short form. What are some of the things that you've discovered about yourself in the process of creating content that you've been able to apply to coaching or that have made you a better coach?
I hate creating content. I do it because I feel like it's a necessary evil, you know, nowadays. But I actually started a new flow of content and how it's made me a better coach, where I started doing like text to screen posts, where it's not a video, it's not a clip, it's not like, hey, look at me doing back. Well, sometimes I do that, but the whole gimmicky, show me, look at me doing this type thing kind of like gets annoying to me. But I like pumping out just information that I think people can use and take back with them. So I started doing like these text to screen posts. You know, today was like, hey, here's 3 reasons why you should do phase potentiation. You know, I do things like that. And every Saturday I'll do like a note to coaches on how to like sort of stack up and hold the standard of coaching better, and those get posted every Saturday, right? So a way that's almost made me a better coach is it's because I try to post good information in the caption, in the context of it. So it's forced me to dive back into training principles that I haven't had to like explain or talk about in a while, or go deeper, or even like they go, well, how can I simplify this? So, I'm not using big words and I'm not trying to over communicate things, but I can like say anybody reading it can look at it and be like, okay, that's what it is. This is how I can apply it. And I think to me, that's the truest essence of being able to relay content and information. What I love to do is because can I get something out there that whoever is looking at it can, if they want to, can understand it and then be able to apply it to wherever they are, whether it's someone who's trying to be fit or it's a coach trying to become a better coach, or it's just someone else is reading, like, all right, cool, that's how he does it, right? And that's not forced me, but give me a new
Style.
road to follow with content. Yeah, with content creation.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you have a team of coaches that you lead and manage, and also you have the gym. So I'm sure this comes up even in the mentorship when other coaches are asking you about, how do they develop their personal brand, or what should they think about when it comes to content? Is there anything that you commonly typically share with them as like, hey, this is my advice to you when you pursue this, because it's kind of the future of coaching, right? Like you have to tell them something.
Man, that's a great question. I feel like, Kandace, I jumped on the wrong day of this with you because
no, it's off the cuff.
Okay, because content is like I refer people to you. It's like when coaches are like, hey, you got to have your voice, you got to communicate, you got to have a voice now on social media, but you need to be authentic and you need to talk about what excites you and gravitate to the niche. It's like when they ask me for advice on how to do it, if I'm gonna be honest with you, like I struggle on what to tell them because I don't fully understand content creation. I don't fully understand what it wants, because I see people posting content and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen or heard in my life. And it's like 1 million followers and these people have like 50,000 people a month subscribing to their stuff. And I'm like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. Like, well, I don't get it, right? And then I'll look at people that I follow, I'm like, man, this is the smartest guy I've ever seen in my life, or the smartest woman I've ever seen. And there's like 5 likes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I don't understand content. I don't understand the creation part of what moves the needle. Like that to me is something that's always eluded me as in this industry, in this business. But what I tell people is be authentic, be true to yourself, put up something that you would want to read. Like I put up stuff that I would want to read. I put up stuff that I would find interesting. I used to try to play the game and figure out like how I can make it jazzy, sharp, and that just pushed me farther away from it. So now I'm like, let me just put up something that I find interesting, that I think would be of value to myself 10 years ago, 15 years ago, right? And that's kind of like how I do it. And I don't know if it's the best because it's not like I'm killing it. It's not like I have like 80,000 likes and all these things, but to me, that's the way
it's
that
an engaged group of people who like you have so much value and education, and value is like, okay, so means so much, right? Because it's either providing education, entertainment, but it's the way you're delivering something that's very clearly in your style. And I get that it's like the content game is a mess and there are so many loopholes to figure out, but I do think your advice is very accurate. Like be true to yourself. One, like master your craft so you have knowledge to share, but then maybe use it as a venue to continue down that path of mastery. Because like you said, you found this new flow where it's like, I don't like being flashy and having that pressure of content creation, but I do like digging into coaching principles and refreshing my own skills. So if I force myself to write these things, I can share it with everyone else, but also keep going deeper in the profession that I love so much.
Yeah. And it's, yeah. And sometimes I do it, right? And I'll be thinking about it and I get so frustrated when you go down the rabbit hole, like, is anybody even like paying attention to this? And then I was talking to my friend today, a good friend of mine. He was like a who's who in strength and conditioning. The guy was one of the most sought after NFL strength coaches in the world. Like he was offered jobs by everybody, like Sylvester Stallone and Jennifer Lopez was seeking him out to train them. Like, he was at the top of the spear of everything. And I was talking to Tay about it, and he's in the same boat. He's like, I don't get it. You know, he's the one that told me, that said the louder and dumber thing to me today. So I'm like, oh my God, at least I'm not alone in this area of field, right?
Well, and it's getting way worse with AI created, content.
Yeah. But I would say, if I was to sum it up, be true to yourself. And what I try to do is, I think, all right, what would I find value if I was looking for information? Could this be benefit myself 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, or 3 years ago, right? And if the answer is yes, then that's generally where I try to stay with my information.
Yeah, no, I love that advice. And then one thing I really noticed that you've had a trend of, well, obviously end of summer, you have athletes going off to college. I love that you're doing these send-off shows.
I thought you were going to talk about my mustache. I'm like, oh,
I love that too.
Mustache. But yeah,
You're going into Movember early.
Early, yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. I was just saying, I love that you're doing these like college send-offs with a lot of your athletes that are going off to school, and to see the relationship that's developed and how special that is. And then to be able to like send them off. Was that just like something random that you did, and then it just scaled because you had so many people going off to college?
Yeah. It was just something I want to kind of like, you form as a coach. James once said to me, like 20 years ago, James Fitzgerald, it was like disassociated caring. It's like you care as a coach, but you can't care too much. And for myself, like as a coach, like I care a lot, and that was probably always one of my hardest things to overcome in the early years, because like I would care so much, I'd almost care too much as a detriment. And all these young athletes that we work with at the facility and that form these relationships with, like, I get really connected and close to them. Like that girl Addison, like she came in, and with these young athletes, you form these relationships and you learn a lot about them, and you learn like the troubles that they go through, the struggles, and the psychological component, and you go down this deep road of helping them get to the next area, the next position, the goals in their lives. And for me, coming up, I never had that from a strength coach. I had, and even like the other coaches in basketball, as a basketball player, I had, it was there, but it wasn't quite there. So when I work with these young athletes, I try to guide them as best I can inside the weight room to get them to their goals, but also in life as well, because there is so much noise for these young males and females trying to get to the next level and find their group and not get mixed up in the wrong stuff, and how to stay in the straight path. And like the more I can give them that guidance, I feel it's my responsibility to give them that guidance, because I've been there and I haven't had it, and I've made mistakes, and I've had it, and it's helped me. So the more I can help people around, and that's just my little way of kind of giving them one last high five before they step off.
Dude, I love it. It definitely hit me right in the feels, so I appreciated it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Awesome.
Well, I know you got to get back to being like super dad with the baseball stuff, but thank you so much for just checking in and saying hi.
No, this was fun. I love these off the cuff things. I know I get pretty random in my answers, so I appreciate you bearing with me.
Hey, the more entertaining you are, the more these views go up. So I'm about it.
All right. Awesome. Sounds good.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Kandace. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was so much fun. Well, we have a few minutes left. I did not even mention to you guys today that the Q&A is open wherever you are consuming this live. So feel free to always, whenever we do these, drop any comments wherever you're watching, and they come into this live stream feed for me to be able to answer. And I can always redirect those questions to the coaches of the network as well. But appreciate those of you who attended live with us today. I said that we would do these every Tuesday through August, which would mean that next Tuesday is the last Tuesday of us committing to doing these lives. But if there's something that you guys like and that you want us to keep doing, I'm down to keep doing them. So also comment on any one of these lives of the recordings if it's something that you enjoy and that you want us to keep doing, or if you have specific things you want us to talk about and throw up, we're happy to. But the intent was really to keep it casual, for me to really give you guys more exposure to the shows that are within the network. So be sure to go to CoachRx.app, hit the podcast page, check out the shows, make sure that you're following, subscribing, liking, engaging with all the episodes that the coaches are putting together, because there is so much knowledge and wisdom from all of these guys in the network. And they're all releasing really valuable content. Again, I send those roundups out every 2 weeks as well. And I'll just kind of show you on the fly. If you head over to the blog and you click on podcasts within the blog, I also do these roundup blogs. So you can look at basically the last 2 weeks. This was from the first 2 weeks of August, by show, the podcasts that were released with a little description and then quick links. These also go out in email as well when we do them. And then, of course, I've been doing blogs for the two native shows that Carl and I are doing as well. Don't forget to check out the frameworks free guide, Carl's top 3 coaching frameworks. Don't forget to, if marketing is something you're working on, don't forget to grab the free marketing plan on a page that I've developed. And yeah, please go check out the shows. So that is really it for today. Super grateful that David got to spend time with us and just share his insights, as well as Brandon, and then Jason got to jump on. So really cool and fun afternoon. But I'll catch you guys next week for maybe the last, maybe not the last live. And appreciate you. Hope everyone has a great day.